you can tell from the title, I'm going to be analyzing the comic Batman the Long Halloween. If you haven't read Batman the Long Halloween, I'm going to be ruining it for you today and answering that question, so fair warning, spoilers. When Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale began work on their classic tale, Batman the Long Halloween, they set out simply with the impetus to tell a story of what happened to the gangsters seen in Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli's seminal work, Batman Year One. Along the way, however, the two creators also spun a yarn that is perhaps one of the most indelible murder mysteries ever written in comics form. In fact, The Long Halloween sparks debate even today, years after its initial release, due in no small part to its ending. Throughout the graphic novel, the serial killer Holiday has been surreptitiously taking out most of the Gotham City underworld month by month as each holiday passes, and Batman has been running himself ragged all year in search of the murderous fiend. In the beginning of the 13th and final chapter, however, Holiday is finally captured and revealed to be Alberto Falcone, son of crime boss Carmine the Roman Falcone, who was thought to be Holiday's victim on New Year's Eve. Or so it would seem. For in the final 4 pages of the book, Loeb and Sale drop quite a bombshell. In these pages, we see Gilda Dent, wife of Harvey Dent, alone in the home that she had shared with her husband Harvey until the day Sal Maroni threw acid in his face during a trial, putting Harvey on the path to become Two-Face, obviously. Gilda says then, standing alone in her basement, that she herself was Holiday, performing the earliest Holiday murders in order to lighten her husband's caseload and bring him home to her. She stopped killing on New Year's Eve, she claims, when her husband came home late and Alberto turned up dead, knowing that he had taken up the cause that she had started. This final twist making the resolution of the novel unclear, readers are left with the burning question, who was Holiday? This mystery is further complicated by the fact that Loeb steadfastly refuses to clarify the ending. He has famously stated time and again that he prefers to leave the reading, the ending, open to reader interpretation. The answer to the question, he says, is in the reader's hands to decipher. However, he's also always careful to add that the answer is in the book itself, that all the clues needed to fathom Holiday's identity are within the text, which is what we're going to do today. Search through those clues. Now, in issue 77 of Wizard magazine, that came out shortly after The Long Halloween concluded, the magazine's staff tries to formulate a theory that incorporates both confessions found in the story. Their idea is that there were, in fact, 2 Holidays, Gilda and Alberto. Gilda performed the first 3 murders just as she stated in the book's conclusion. And I'm going to read some of that text for you because it's really small. She quit killing because Gilda had gotten what she really wanted, a house to have a family in, and she and Harvey were going to try to have kids again. And as of New Year's Eve, she mistakenly thought Harvey took up the reins of Holiday with news of Holiday's killing of Alberto. In reality, however, Wizard states, Alberto at that time faked his death in order to become Holiday himself. This plot was launched by Alberto and Carmine, says the Wizard staff, who both decided to use the Holiday identity to whack the men of rival Maroni. Note the shift in victims from New Year's Eve forward. Since this issue of Wizard was released, this theory has become the commonly accepted answer of Holiday's identity. But if you allow me to be a bit editorial for a moment, this is a bunch of crap. One reason why this theory on a switch in killers is unlikely to be true lies in the forensic evidence left at the scene of every Holiday crime, namely the .22s with which Holiday committed the murders. It is revealed late in the story that when Alberto was acting as Holiday, he was having his gun specially made by a character known as the Gunsmith. If Gilda did not buy this same type of gun from this same gun dealer, then there would have been noticeable differences that the police would have been able to find from looking at the guns and at the bullets and at the holes the bullets made in the victims. All .22s are not exactly alike, as CSI has taught us. In fact, in the April Fool's issue, which you see on the right, Batman is shown doing actual forensic tests on the guns. If the guns had been manufactured by different people, the markings left on the bullet by the barrel would be different, and Batman would surely have noticed during his tests. Such a point would then have become a major clue, especially after one of Holliday's victims becomes the guy who makes the guns, and it would have been stated on panel. Since this was not the case, we have to assume that the guns are all the same. If both Alberto and Gilda are acting as Holliday as Wizard purports, then the guns used in all the murders must be exactly alike, which is highly unlikely given that Alberto's were specially constructed for him. But perhaps the largest hole in this hypothesis is that it is just too much of a coincidence that Gilda's killings ended and Alberto's began at the same time. If Gilda did commit the initial Holliday murders, then Alberto had no way of knowing that someone else would not also be killed on New Year's Eve. His plan to fake his own death only works if he knew that no one else would be a Holliday victim that evening. And he could not know that if Gilda had been Holliday up to that point. It simply doesn't add up logically. Thus, if we do not accept the switch in Killers, we are left with only two theories, the ones that are in fact laid out in the book itself. Alberto confesses to the crimes, and Gilda similarly admits that she and Harvey both committed the crimes. Since Loeb has repeatedly stated that the book holds all the answers, one of these theories must be correct. So which is the most plausible? In my mind, there's no question. It's clear that Alberto was the only Holliday killer.